This playthrough is rated M for mature. Police Headquarters, Tuesday, 3:14 a.m. Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of AI, the Somnium Files. In the last episode, we delved into the mind of the boss, trying to stop us as they return, and we saw some pretty disturbing things, but we also saw another disturbing thing that perhaps it's just in her mind and the way she saw it, but it almost seems like each killer, or each time a person died, it was subsequently killed by the person who killed them, and then they were killed, and it was, what is going on around here? Perhaps with that knowledge and the boss waking up soon, maybe we'll get our answer, but who knows?
I took a look around your head, and I discovered something. Something about the new Cyclops serial killings. Apart from Ota, there are 4 victims. Shoko Nadami, Renju Okiura, Iris Sagan, and So Sejima. Who was responsible for these murders? Shoko was stabbed by Renju with an ice pick. Renju was strangled to death by Iris. So cut open Iris's body. But who shot So? It was you. In other words, all of these murders were committed by different people. There wasn't just one killer. That's how it looks on the surface, anyway. But that's not the truth, is it? There's only one culprit. One person. And that person is...
Oh, well, I don't know who that one person is. It could be anyone. No, can we use for... Oh, I assume we're not going to get any comedic responses from this. Not this time, but, just double checking. Room, mirror. Yeah, I didn't think there would be anything comedic about it. Well, it's clearly Renju. No, that's not it. Oh, we're not gonna... Oh, is it that point we're just being comedic at this point? So, it was Oda! Oda was collateral damage. He can't be the culprit. Sorry if I was yelling in the mic a bit. It was Iris, of course! It's not Iris. It was Pewter, even though he's helping it out. It's clearly Pewter. It's not Pewter. The game's like, seriously, dude? Seriously? It was So, even though he just got shot. No, it isn't. It was Shoko. Yeah, that's it. It could be, but... Alright.
Yes, you. The person in front of me right now.
You're blaming the commander of Abyss for this?
No, not Boss. The person inside Boss's head.
Can you at least try to make sense?
Alright, I'll explain. You know about the abandoned chemical plant in Kawasaki? There's a prototype sync machine there. You use that device to swap around bodies one by one.
In other words, the entire egg ends up being replaced. Mind, consciousness, memory, they are traded. Switched. ...
I don't know where it started, but at some point, you got into Shoko's brain. Then, you got into Renju's, and got rid of Shoko's body. After Renju was Iris. You strangled Renju using Iris. After that, into So, who you used to kill Iris and Ota at the cold storage warehouse. Now, you're in Boss's body, inside her head.
I see. If you know that much, then I have nothing left to hide. Yes, I am the culprit behind the new Cyclops serial killings. I guess you can call me the new Cyclops killer.
Oh, God damn it, game! Quit doing that. Anyway, so well, at least I can sleep well knowing that the boss didn't intentionally do it. It's just someone got inside of her body. Get off her body, you freak! I'm the only one who deserves her body. I mean, she was my friend. Why'd you do that to her, you asshole? I mean, sorry. Her eyes look clouded and dark. Who the hell are... who was inside Iris during the interrogation Sunday?
That was me.
You imitate her well. From the way you talked and your body language, it was like the real Iris. Earlier, too. You almost had me fooled. Your imitation of Boss was... perfect.
Yes, there's a reason for that. Let me define some terms first. A person's memory and sense of self. Let's call that personality. It isn't quite the right word, but it'll suffice. Now, transferring that personality into someone else's brain, let's call that parasitism. The one transferring is the parasite, the one being transferred into is the host. Are you with me so far? Moving on. Even after the personality exchange is complete, the host's memory isn't completely lost. About 1% remains in the brain. So, a parasite could use that 1% to imitate the language and behavior of the host. That's how I knew about the warehouse and Sunfish Pocket, by the way. Thanks to Renju and Iris's remaining memories.
Ah, man, you keep throwing me off. I keep expecting it to keep going. Ugh, I gotta pay attention more on that. Oh, did we already ask that? I guess we're just continuing that line of questioning on that one.
I'm telling you, it was me. Why are you making me repeat myself?
That means the Somnium I entered on Sunday.
That's right. It was me.
How? Question mark. How does he know about the original Cyclops killings? And something else was troubling me.
What's going on here?
What is going on? I do like how some of the paths are incorporating some of the stuff we'd heard or read from other... So you can tell why it's locked off, because you need to have the current knowledge available to piece it all together at that point. So the only point is figuring out the initial end run there. So who the hell are you anyway?
Saito. Saito Sejima. Congressman Sejima's son.
What?
I researched Saito thoroughly, but I cannot find any images of him on the internet. He is listed on the family register, but I cannot find any photographs.
Ah, see, there it is, folks. The Saito, he's the true villain. I mean, if you haven't figured it out already, Saito's basically the true villain of this game. But there's only so much we know about him. But if you haven't already figured it out, well, like I said, we're getting there. So, sorry, I just can't help myself. Give me the details of all the crimes, you freak!
Before I do, there's something I want to hear from you. How did you know about the prototype sync machine? And not only that, you also seem to know what the sync machine is truly capable of. Why is that?
That's...
Regaining your memories, are you? Human memory is fractal. If you retain even a single piece of it, it's possible to recreate the whole thing. Pieces of memories are like roots that grow into every corner of the brain, gradually, slowly, taking its time. I imagine the same thing is happening in your brain right now.
A fractal is a figure with self-similarity. Allow me to explain. See this? Whichever fragment you cut, you will see a similar shape. The whole is made up of its similar parts. This is called a fractal figure. Memories in the brain are similar. That is what he is explaining. He is claiming that from a few pieces, you can rebuild the memory.
I knew about the prototype from regaining my memory. Is that right? No, that's not it.
Parallel worlds exist.
Her eyes look clouded. Okay, just didn't know if it had anything different. Continue.
Fine. I still have time.
Time?
You'll see. So, where do you want me to start?
It's just past midnight on Tuesday. Shoko was killed on Friday. If we think of that as day 1, today is day 5. What was Saito doing during those days? I decided to ask him. Well, start from the beginning, I guess. On Friday, what were you doing?
Like you guessed, my personality was in Shoko, Renju's ex-wife. That made calling Renju easy. I need to talk to you about something. He came over without question. I think it was around 4 p.m. I had him meet me at the chemical plant. I made Renju go to sleep. Synced, switched personalities, and then stabbed Shoko's discarded body with an ice pick. I took Shoko to Bloom Park by car, using the old abandoned subway line. Must have been around 8 p.m. by the time I was finished. I tied up Shoko to one of the merry-go-round horses. After that, I used Renju's phone to send a Nile message to Mizuki.
Mizuki, Daddy got caught up in something serious.
Then, I just waited for Mizuki to arrive.
How nefarious. Day 2, Saturday? Where were you then? What were you doing?
Until next Saturday evening, my personality was inside Renju. My next target was Iris. I knew she would be suspicious if I asked her to come to Kawasaki, so I asked her to come to Sunfish Pocket first. I called her a little before 5 p.m., and she arrived just after 6. I greeted her, then convinced her to come with me. That's when Ota saw us. Anyway, I put her in the car, then headed to the chemical plant. On the way, I made her take a sleeping pill. I knew she might run once she saw where we were going. It was around 7 p.m. when I got there, and I wasted no time switching bodies. After getting Iris's body, I used a rolled-up apron to strangle Renju to death. Then I put his body in an empty oil drum I'd prepared earlier. I put that in the trunk of the car, then headed to Sunfish Pocket. But then, something I didn't anticipate happened. Waiting for the signal in Akiba, someone knocked on the window of the car. It was Ota. He asked me something about being able to drive. He was surprised, to say the least. I didn't have time to waste on him. But I couldn't risk him finding the oil drum in the trunk. Plus, if word got around that Renji's car was spotted driving around Akiba, that would foil my plans. So, I came up with a lie. I told him that I didn't have a license, so he had to keep it a secret. That's what that thing referred to in Ota's Nile messages, by the way. And just like that, I managed to escape a bad situation and headed to Sunfish Pocket as planned. The rest went exactly as you already figured out.
Yeah, all this work. Although, you know, we found out that you have a thing for only getting pleasure from from killing people, so that's why you're going to all these crazy elaborate methods. So, all right, day 3.
Sunday morning, I had a recording or some such thing scheduled. Oh, I am, of course, referring to Iris. I didn't want to draw suspicion, so I decided to attend, as planned. I went to Lemniscate and performed my job. And when I left, I ran into you, Date. To be honest, I was a little surprised. Just the previous night, I was a parasite in the body of Renju. I didn't think Ota had seen me. So, of course, I didn't expect to see you there so soon. You were on to me, but there was nothing I could do about that. If I ran, it would only increase your suspicion. So I decided to play my role. The interrogation began around 8:20 p.m., is that right? Then you synced into my mind. But you didn't get what you were looking for, did you? As a result, you had no choice but to release me. I didn't want to go home right away. I knew there might be police waiting for me. That would make it difficult to sneak out at night. And that would put my plan in jeopardy. So I asked you to take me to Marble. I tried to find an opportunity to run, but then another unexpected event occurred. I got a Nile message from Ota. I knew I could use him. So I told him I needed his help and to meet me at Marble. He did as I instructed him to do. After that, I got into the van with Ota. But because his presence was unnecessary, I asked him to stop at a convenience store to buy me something to drink. When he was gone, I took his car and drove to my parents' house where I used to live. Yes, the Sejima residence. Of course, I knew I couldn't just walk up and ring the doorbell. Hello, Father, it's been a long time. I was also in Iris's body at the time. But I thought I could use that to my advantage. So I pushed on the intercom and sure enough, my dad invited me inside. I told him this. I want you to come with me. There's something I need to show you. He was quiet for a while, but eventually agreed and got into the van with me. We arrived at the prototype sync machine around 11:50 p.m. By the time I was in the body of Sosejima, it was a new day.
Oh, do you continue from that day or from the Monday day? Huh. Well, I guess continue on, I guess. I don't want to miss any of the juicy little details.
This was yesterday, early Monday morning, past midnight. In my new body, I drugged Iris, put her in the van, and drove to a new location. Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse. I arrived around 1, then prepared for the show for a couple hours. Of course, when I say show, I mean dismembering Iris. Because of the temperature in the warehouse, it took longer than I expected to prepare, but... well, you saw it in the video. Of course, I didn't anticipate Ota would show up. What does that make it? 3 times that brat has showed up unexpectedly? That annoyed me to no end, and I took that out on him. Dressing him up in the polar bear was an impromptu plan on my part. I didn't mean to make you think he was the killer. I just wanted to throw a wrench into the investigation. Didn't matter if you found out or not. This all happened Monday morning. I left the warehouse around 3:30 a.m.
Man, all these Oda, as annoying as he was, seemed to somehow weirdly deny this person what they were trying to do, but to no avail, at least on this path anyway.
There isn't much to talk about on Monday. Before noon, I used my old man's body to call this one Boss. You might not know this, but she and my father go back about 6 years. The two shared a terrible secret. Hinting at that was enough to get the boss to come running to me immediately. I injected her with a sedative, then brought her body to the chemical plant. I synced with her, exchanged our bodies. And after blowing my father's brains out, I cut his body into pieces. I stuffed the meat into a vase I'd brought earlier, then drove back to my house.
Which we see some of that on one of the other paths as well, so you can see how it's all slowly kind of coming together. Okay, anyway, continue. You monster. Saito spoke with grace and no sign of remorse. I was trying to keep my anger from boiling over and kept asking him questions. It's going to be hard to after hearing all this and how it all pretty much, well, I can't say perfectly worked out because I got caught in the end, but still. Why did you take out the victim's eyes in this path?
You know all about the prototype sync machine, don't you? That should explain it.
I knew. Yeah, I forgot what path it was, but yeah, you can figure out that you had to pop out their eye to make it work. The prototype sync machine differed from the one at Abyss in a few key ways. The machine at Abyss is more sophisticated. Nano cables from the sync gear enter through the gap between the eyeball and socket. Then they travel down the optic nerve canal to the brain. To the brain! So I guess I shouldn't be comedic at this time, but yeah, can't help myself. But the prototype sync machine isn't so advanced. To perform a sync, you need to remove the left eye. Manually. The subject and the syncer have to remove their eye from the socket. Otherwise, the cables cannot enter the brain. Of course, even with eye removed, severing the connection to the brain isn't necessary. The extracted eyeball still has the optic nerve and blood vessels connected. After a sync, the eye is supposed to be replaced back in the socket. It's supposed to be safe. Side effects are rare. Unless the nerve or blood vessels are damaged somehow, replacing the eyeball isn't too difficult. But yeah, I forgot what path that was on now, where you find out that that was the Iris path, right? Where you're trying to fix her brain or something like that before. But yeah, you can see he does something weird, and then boom, and then when she wakes up, her eye's bloody. So yeah. Well, ask again, obviously, to sync with the machines, but I gotta be redundant.
Of course, I don't really care about eyes.
That was Rohan's thing.
I don't need them. All I cared about was exchanging bodies with the sync. And for that, I needed to remove the left eye.
Why didn't you just put the eyes back when you were done?
That's obvious. Once I was finished transferring into a new body, the old one was of no concern to me. Why would I bother replacing the eye? I was just going to get rid of it anyway.
True, you were just like, I don't want to mess with it. Man, it must be a bitch to pop your own eye back in, though. 'Cause when you wake up, you're like, oh, God, where are the eyes that you removed, anyway?
Shoko's is in Renju. Renju's is in Iris. Iris's is in Dad. Dad's is in Boss. Their stomachs, I mean.
You sick bastard.
Yes, I ate them. immediately after exchanging personalities.
How horrible.
I ate them with a nice Chianti and some fava beans. Why did the sink well, we'll go through it. We'll have to ask all these questions anyway. Why did the sink victims resist after waking? Probably because they were super groggy and crap.
Ah, the prototype sync machine has a special feature. It administers a strong dose of sedatives to the original body, and a stimulant to the host after a sync. That kept them docile.
Well, convenient for you, didn't you? And of course, you display. Oh, why you display the bodies? Probably for some weird sick fetish or something like that. You monster.
To harass you. I wanted to bring out the hatred in you. That's why I called Mizuki to Bloom Park. That's why I streamed Iris's murder. Because they were important to you, weren't they? I wanted you to feel cornered, trapped. I wanted to punish you, Kaname Date.
Looks like he has a real hate boner for us. But why? Why? What's your motivation?
Homicide is my hobby. I have a tenacity for it, what can I say? Of course, it was also necessary to make sure people kept their mouths shut. If I took over someone's body, they would know about my crimes. I couldn't risk them reporting me, so I killed them. It was also a matter of revenge. Against you. It's personal. That's why I chose people close to you as targets. Well, except for my father, of course. That was personal to me. But don't ask. It's embarrassing.
Don't spread it open. It's embarrassing. What was I gonna say? Oh, never mind. Revenge against me?
This series of murders was like a journey for me. You know, traveling through bodies to finally reach the end. That's the thing about traveling. We always wind up in the same place, don't you? Where do you think that is? Your home. A trip is only complete once you return home. The same goes for me. When I return home, my travels will come to an end. So I'll be needing it back. My body.
What?
You stole my body. You took it from me 6 years ago. That's why I want revenge.
What are you talking about?
You have no idea what it was like inside my own head. I miss it. I miss my brain, Date. No matter how many people I killed, it never worked. I never felt happy. I feel miserable.
You mean?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oh, that's right. My old body. How are you finding it, Date?
There's the big twist, viewers. If you don't already see it coming, you are, or your body was the former murderer of Saito Sejima or whatever you want to do it. My original theory was it did have something to do with the main character, that maybe he was the murderer and then he had amnesia. Now that might change differently in the other path, but the idea was the main character was directly either the murderer or tied to the murder, really specifically because of the whole amnesia thing. So the whole body switching thing is just a different twist on the same story. So it would have worked either way. I mean, there's not any different dialogue for these, is there? I didn't think there was, but yep, that's the big twist, viewers. Is yeah, we're in the body of the killer in this case. Just something happened, so obviously probably going to explain how this happened in the first place. So let's get to it then, I guess.
That's what I've been telling you!
I don't have the same oxytocin deficiency you did.
That is because I regularly supplement it. They must have increased your dosage too much.
No, but the person who had this disorder was number 89, the original Cyclops killer.
That is what I believed as well. But we must have misunderstood. Pewter did not specify who exactly was imprisoned. Only that one of the original culprits responsible was currently in prison.
That's strange. That would mean number 89 is the previous chairman, Rohan.
That must be it. Rohan is a parasite inside number 89's brain. Pewter must have known that.
No way.
I was confused. Oh, I do like the twist that the one thing that was meant as a joke throughout the whole game about the dosage, but at some point I noticed it was way too... It wasn't as annoying as some of the jokes in like a lot of things will do, where they'll do a joke and they'll do it like all the time. It was just enough consistency with it to realize they were trying to point something out to it. I was like, oh, I see. But anyway, I digress. I didn't understand any of it.
Let us determine the specifics using Saito as our starting point. Whose brain was he in before Boss?
So Sejima.
And before So?
Iris. And before that, Renju. And before that, Shoko.
And before Shoko?
And before Shoko. Whose body were you in before Shoko?
I was a parasite inside Rohan's brain 6 years ago until last year. I'd lost most of my memories. I was a shell of a man. They housed me in a special hospital, but I still had those fragments of my mind left, just as I explained earlier. From a single piece, you can recreate the whole. I took my time, slowly regaining my memories. 1 year ago, I remembered everything. I left the hospital and immediately sought out Shoko Nadami. I got her body, and she was in Rohan's. When she saw herself in the mirror, she lost her mind. She was confused, panicking, running up the emergency staircase, and then...
That's why Rohan committed suicide.
After that, I spent a year perfecting my plan, using Shoko's body. I spied on you all this time. That's why I know everything about you.
Yeah, you wonder why Rohan killed himself, and then why Moma mentions that, like, at some point, like, Rohan, whenever the he parasited into Rohan, like, his temperament all of a sudden changed. Like, oh, maybe not 180, but enough to be like, oh, he's different now. So, yeah, it's all coming together. Who were you before Rohan, though?
In there, in that body you are operating right now, in that skull, my personality lived there.
Wait, hold on. If what you're saying is true, what about my personality?
It was in Rohan.
I'm not Rohan!
Correct. It is just as he explained earlier. Number 89 was in Rohan's body. In other words...
That's... my real...
Yeah, now the tie into, like, why do you think, like, the Somnium at the very beginning of the game had number 89 in there? I had a feeling that they were tied to each other. I didn't know if they were going to be the same personality or if they were like brothers or related or something like that. But I knew that they were directly tied to each other. I just didn't know how exactly. That's always the nice point, is like if you get to do a good enough journey that you can see the trope, but how it gets to that is always more entertaining than anything. At least it's a bit twist, but anyway. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot.
Sorry, but time's up. I want my body back. It's quite simple. Sync with me and stay inside my mind for more than 6 minutes.
And if I refuse?
I know that you won't. I know it.
Huh?
Date, look! This is streaming live!
Damn you!
If you give me back my body, I will give you the location. Oh, and of course, it isn't the chemical plant in the Kawasaki district.
Iva, where's the source?
It is being routed through numerous IPs. I cannot identify the source.
Computer, contact headquarters, now!
Got it!
Now, what will you do? Will you agree to my request?
By Saito? Well, what can we do? Oh. Oh, wait, where'd this guy... Oh, yeah, Peter brought it in. Okay, just seeing if there's any stuff. Okay. Well, I mean, if we do it, we might save her, but, no, we gotta stick her out. No! I don't care about the woman.
Date, I'm hurt. Don't you care about what happens to her?
Well, I mean, we're not the same person as 89. I wonder if you can keep doing that.
Do you understand the gravity of this situation? A bomb is strapped to her body.
Well, too bad, bro.
You're too stubborn. Or maybe you're just cold-hearted.
I just don't want to give in to you, that's all.
You want to see what will happen when her flesh burns and tears and scatters?
I wonder how far this is gonna go. Well, let's keep doing it. No.
If you aren't quick, you'll see the whole thing. You know I'm not bluffing, don't you?
Yeah, but you'll be trapped to jail or the death sentence or whatever. So it kind of stops here. So what's one more death, right? I didn't agree, no matter how many times he demanded it of me. I refused again and again. And when I saw it, I understood. Boss's body rolled into the corner of the room. I didn't want to think anymore. Anything. Nothing. I closed my eyes and ran my palm across my face. I could taste blood. Bad end. Of course they're supposed to accept the proposal. If anything, to buy enough time to save Tomy, but I want to show that off. So, yeah, this is gonna be a super long episode because it's kind of the end of this path specifically, as you can see right here. Man, look at the crazy boss face whenever she's like just looking at you. You're like, ah, that's scary, man. But yeah, I just wanted to show what happens if you refuse to relent. Well, I mean, what game lets you do that and you somehow win? Usually you have to at least agree, if anything. Oh, do I have to go through the whole thing again? Well, luckily, you know, I'm just gonna cut that out. So I'll see you when we get back to the choice part again. Okay, we're back. Sorry, that was... I mean, it only took like a little while, but still, that's kind of annoying, actually. But anyway, alright, I'll do it. You monster.
Date!
See? I knew you wouldn't refuse. I know you well, don't I, Date?
Police headquarters, Tuesday, 4:28 a.m.
I did it. I did it. I'm back. I got it all back.
Hey, where's Hitomi?
All right. I'll tell you as promised. Boss's house. However, it might be too late by now.
What? Why?
Return my body and I'll tell you the location. That's what I said. I didn't lie. I kept my promise.
You bastard!
You're the one who injured that body. It's your own fault, really.
Damn it.
Be seeing you.
Date, are you all right?
Iba's voice barely resonated. My eyesight was hazy, a heap of broken images. Sweat was building on my palms. It felt like my throat was closing up and I was struggling for breath. In my ears, the rushing blood in my heartbeat was the only sound.
Everyone's dead.
Shoko, Renju, Iris, Oda, Hitomi, Boss. The flesh remains, the mind is lost.
I couldn't do anything. Saito had me right where he wanted me. Nothing. Nothing.
Parallel worlds exist.
The words suddenly echoed in my head. I couldn't remember who, or where, or why. But I thought that if there really was such a world, then me in that world, I as another.
Could I have had a better future?
I prayed that I could. I felt my consciousness sink into a black abyss. And thus we get the Annihilation ending of Somnium. You know, it's kind of makes sense to have like one of the worst endings occur right before getting the true ending of the game. So, you know, and I like the fact that, you know, that Iba, obviously, Saito, I guess didn't know enough about her or wasn't aware of her at all, or, well, must have known something from the boss, but didn't even think the fact that maybe if they swapped bodies, Iba would have done something to him. Something, maybe thought she would just do whatever he said because that was her, you know, that he was in control of her, but I guess she formed just enough of a personality to know differently, obviously. But yeah, let's skip because there's no like unique ending to it because this isn't the real true ending. So yep, the Annihilation route end. I don't think there's any. Obviously, there's no. I don't think there's any. Actually, I guess I could have talked through the credits there because I don't think there's any. Yeah, there's not like an after, like all the other paths had like a little after story to kind of finish it. I guess I could have let the credits run there, but yeah, what a twist, man! Now we know everything that we need to do, but can we use that information in the final path of the game to save those that are still alive and stop the killer once and for all? Find out next time in the finales of AI, the Somnium Files, because I'm probably not going to get in one episode, but it's basically we're setting up for the finale. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.